Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. My name is John. This is Havoc Maker Studio, and we're going to talk about ModCon 2022 that's going on right now. What is it? Well, that's Modifius. It's a publishing company that handles a massive array of RPGs, some homegrown, some using IPs such as Fallout, Dune, John Carter of Mars, Dishonored, if you ever played that video game. And they've got the Skyrim tabletop skirmish and board game. So they, and Star Trek, if I happen to mention that. So they, I mean, that's just a small sampling of what they have access to. And they're really starting to broaden their reach out just from RPGs to start delving into some really big fan favorite communities for tabletop skirmish games. So right now, they've got a Cthulhu one based on, I think I'm going to try to say it right, Octung Cthulhu, which is based kind of like a World War II era skirmish game, and there's also an RPG. They're both two separate systems. They also have the Fallout skirmish game, Fallout Wasteland Warfare, which we're going to be talking about in this episode. They've got the Skyrim game, and they're talking about some more. RPG wise, the really big ones is the Infinity RPG. Even though it kind of had a really bad release, it's still a immensely comprehensive look into the Infinity universe from Corvus Belli. Excuse me. And it's a really fantastic game. And then we also saw, like I said, Dune, Star Trek, Adventures, John Carter of Mars, and more. So right now, what we're going to talk about for ModCon is their Fallout game. Fallout Wasteland Warfare is a tabletop skirmish game. It does have a companion RPG. It's kind of like a hybrid RPG tabletop skirmish mixture. You don't have to own one to play the other, but it does help, if that makes sense. And then there is a separate Fallout RPG. That is the 2D20 RPG, which I'm a big fan of. I participated in the beta testing. I really enjoyed it. It's a fantastic RPG, probably one of my favorite as of right now to run. The few small quick sessions that I've done, it is definitely an enjoyable system. Now we're going to be taking a look at ModCon 2022 a little bit more for their other products. Right now they're talking about Star Trek, and then later on we're going to look at their new expansion for the Dune RPG, which is still using a 2D20 system, but a very unique twist on actions and conflict resolution and such that I could spend hours talking about, and I don't want to exhaust myself. And that's not what this video is about. So we're going to take a look at the new Wave 7 because we're just rounding out last of Wave 6 for Fallout Wasteland Warfare dropped this, I think this last weekend or the weekend before, or is about ready to drop. And they've talked about Wave 7, which is the rest of this year, and talking about what is coming down the line for the future going forward 2023 with Wave 8 and something else that's a special. We'll wait till the end and we'll talk about that. So let's just dive in. So first up, one of the things that they've talked about was they're going to do a new way of introducing stats and cards and such. Is that when these campaign books come out, like right now, the new one that's going to be Wave 7 is Forged in Fire or In the Fire. And we'll take a look at all the stuff that's going to be coming out alongside it. And inside the campaign book is going to be all the rules for all the characters. One thing they're going to stop doing moving forward is releasing character or card packs. It's not very profitable for them, and there's also production issues, changing of sizes. There's a lot of issues that go around it. It's easier for them just to include it in the books, and if they have to do an update, they can do an update, a free PDF document online going, hey, here's the updated stats for Super Mutant Suicide, or, oh, I don't think I can say that. Super Mutant Self-Deleter. Yes, the Self-Deleter Super Mutant. God, I hate YouTube sometimes. So they're going to be doing that a little bit more, or not actually not a little bit more, but going forward, they won't be including as many cards or cards the card packs are just going away. And included in this Forged in Fire campaign, there's going to be a heroic promo figure. We'll take a look at that. There's all sorts of new creatures, new models for new factions. Now, this is a smaller wave, and it will last through pretty much the rest of the year. And then all a bunch of new stuff is 2023, which we're going to get to. But first, let's go ahead and dive into their first reveal, which is going to be the Forged. This is a raider group. And if you guys remember, if you've played Fallout 4, you'll remember up north, you encounter the Forge. It's a raider group that's an old iron smelting plant. They have a lot of those heavy flame weapons, lots of fire bombs. They really, really, really like fire. They like worship fire, and that's the group that we're encountering. That's at least the main raider group, and this is also adding on to the other Wasteland Warfare factions. So not only is it for this campaign, but it also helps boost your raider faction. There are going to be some head and weapon options in this pack, so you'll be able to swap them out, which is always good. I like that they've been doing that going forward. Is starting to think a little bit more future-proof in a way, based off of a lot of the feedback that we, the community, have given them. So we'll see different weapons, different head options. It'll still be kind of pretty much the same poses, but they'll just have different weapons. So, hey, I'll take it. And as you can see, I imagine this pack's probably going to be about $60 based on some of the current packs. But you're still getting a heck of a lot of models. And when you don't need a lot of models in the first place, I mean, this is pretty much everything you need. So also coming out alongside this is going to be, there's a new group of survivors. If you'll remember, there is once again, this is rounding out the Fallout 4, is that the up around that area, there's a place called the Slog. It's got a swimming pool. It's like a community rec center type of location, and it's run by ghouls. And the ghouls have a tarberry farm growing in the pool. They also have their own little farmstead and whatnot. So you're going to be getting a lot of the classic characters from that group, which includes like Jones, Wiseman, Deidre, Arlen, and I can't remember the rest. So Holly was one of the gals. So, and then I think one of them was just a random ghoul. So you're getting named characters. So that's always cool, because especially if you've played Fallout 4, regardless of your opinion, if you hated it or didn't hate it or whatever, but you probably played it, probably completed it like a lot of us. So we're getting those characters to go alongside it. It is another group to add on to your survivors. And what's going to be good about this group in particular, what they were talking about, is in this last wave 6, they just put out the Children of Adam. And the Children of Adam are really, a lot of the games, a lot of feedback they're getting is really wrecking havoc with a lot of people. The rad weapons that they use, the gamma guns and such, are really very deadly to people that are not immune to radiation or resistances to radiation. And one thing that ghouls can do is resist radiation. So they are almost kind of a counterpunch to the Children of Adam, almost like a yin and yang, the mere opposites. So that's really cool, especially if you've been having a problem with people running roughshod over you with rad weapons. So I think that's a really cool feature that they, not only do they think about, well, we got this really powerful group with radiation weapons, and if you've played Fallout, radiation is deadly. And so let's go ahead and just bring this forward. This region of Fallout 4 the slog, and I forget the farmstead that's down below the where the forge are, but it's how you get interacting with them. And speaking of that farmstead, that gets you interacting with them. Excuse my little squeaky voice. Alongside the Forged in the Fire campaign box or book that's going to be coming out, there's going to be a promo figure, and it's going to be Jake Finch. He's the son of the Finch farm. There we go. I'm pretty sure it's what it is. His father was in the war. He had used, or his grandfather passed down the line, something along that lines. He has it's like the Chinese sword, but it's got all the mods on it. It's called a shish kebab, and it's like a flaming energy weapon sword. So he's going to be coming out alongside that. He's a heroic promo figure is what they called him. So you have all the rules for him, which is going to be good to come out alongside the survivors. So that's a really cool thing that they're doing, because they're delving more into the lore. And right now, like I said, they're focusing on rounding out Fallout 4, where before they were on New Vegas. And speaking of New Vegas, we've got some New Vegas style creatures going to be coming up. We'll get to those in just a moment, I hope. But we're going to talk about creatures first. There are a host of new creatures coming. You can play creatures in the game. They were actually talking about they want to see and hear about some people's stories of winning with the Brahmin, an army of Brahmin. If you're not familiar, Brahmin are the two-headed cattle that are in the game. And the Brahmin are releasing this weekend, or with this last of the Wave 6 releases. So I'm sure they're looking forward to hear some of the bizarre stories you can get. But if you've ever played, especially the more recent games like Fallout 4, 3, and Fallout 76, you've encountered, especially Fallout 76, which I've got like 300 some odd hours into playing, bloat flies. Bloat flies are one of the most annoying creatures. Almost. We're going to get to the most annoying here in a minute, but they pop up everywhere. They're a classic, iconic creature next to the rad roaches and rad scorpions. They are a major nuisance. Well, they're a minor nuisance, but they always appear when you're just trying to get something done, and it's like, oh, now I got to fight these stupid flies that move around, and you can barely target them. They're really annoying. But they are entering the creatures faction alongside a couple other. Let's hold off on that one. A couple other favorites. Let's see here. We've got the Stingwings. If you're familiar with them, they're kind of like a mutated dragonfly, and really they're another one of those annoying ones, because they inflict poison or radiation poison, and it's just very annoying. And we're going to talk more about all of these creatures once I go through them all. But they're definitely annoying because they're just like the bloat flies. They're relentless. They move around a lot. Also, like the blood bugs, giant radioactive mosquitoes the size of small dogs or large dogs. Really annoying. Once again, these ones suck your blood versus infecting you with poison or sticking you with poison. And really annoying to deal with. Once again, all these creatures are annoying because there's usually like 2 or 3 of them, and it's always when you're trying to do something else, and now you've got this extra minor creature really to deal with. It's not like they're death claws or super mutants or anything along that lines that you're trying to deal with. But when you're fighting something else, at least in the video games, and I would imagine even in tabletop RPG, now you've got this giant insect that's maybe it's not so deadly on its own, but now it's compounding the issues you're facing with the other creatures that are raiders or whatever it is that you're fighting. So building up this creature faction is really kind of scary, and kind of when you think about how devastating they are in the video games when they're grouped up, and then you have other creatures grouping up with them, because these aren't running around in power armor. These aren't a high cost, high value targets, but what they do make up for without being at high cost is numbers. And going alongside that, we're going to have Rad Stag herds, which I'm really surprised that the Rad Stags have waited. They've waited this long for the Rad Stags, but eventually they were going to get to them. There's just so many creatures and flora that they've got to get through. So it's understandable that they're just now getting to them, but it's just surprising that it's really taken this long. Rad Stags, as you can see, they're kind of like the Brahmin, if you're not familiar, but they're just deer. So this is going to come with a buck and 2 does. And yes, you can build up this force. So it's a pretty good all-rounder for the creature faction. Now, to finish out what I was talking about with the New Vegas information, is the Super Mutants, a faction, is getting a boost, if you will. They've already gotten a pretty big boost from the Fallout 4 series and from the New Vegas. It really helps soup them up with a lot of new unit types. But now we're kind of wrapping up with the most disgusting ones from, I think one of these is from Fallout 3 and the other one's from Fallout New Vegas. But these are the Super Mutant, the Centaurs. So really, I'm not a big fan of the one with the tentacles coming out of his mouth. It doesn't look as cool. It just looks like, eh. But the one with all the heads and the arms and legs, that one is extremely creepy, and it's given me some very good vibes. Like, I want to buy that and paint it. There's like multiple. I wish I could just buy multiples of that one, because I really feel like there's a lot of painting potential with different options and such. So I might have to buy a couple boxes of this one. What we do know is that it was supposed to be originally in the New Vegas wave, but just didn't meet the deadline because they were having difficulties working on the different sculpts and trying to get everything right. And they had only a very small window to put all that stuff in, and how much they could release in that wave before it was too bloated and they were kind of leaving the other waves left off. So that's the other reason why it's waiting for this wave coming up, wave 7, because it's a smaller wave. As you can see, we don't have a lot being released, but it is the perfect place for it. So those of you that are fans of the Centaurs, yay, we've got them. The full stat cars and everything, and AI cars for all these things are going to be in this new campaign book, The Forged in the Fire. So something to look forward to. Something that they also mentioned was that on all the creatures that we've seen here are going to be on 40 millimeter bases. At least all the bugs are going to be on 40 millimeter bases, which kind of alludes to, they were talking about that these are like the high end versions, the more powerful versions of these creatures, the adult versions, rather than the smaller, weaker ones. So that's why they put them on. And plus, the other reason why they put them on these larger bases is because to get the dimensions right and to make it look good, it was ideal to make them much larger, which makes them a little bit more intimidating and creepy, especially if you have like a bug problem. If you got issues with bugs, this is definitely the things that you want to swap. I don't know why I've got multiple Rad Stags up there. Okay, so coming out right after Forged in the Fire, this is what they're talking about, is the next wave. They're talking about a little bit, and I could have got part of this information right, so just bear with me. But this is going to be going to the Fallout 3. This is in the capital Wasteland. It's going to be the Enclave versus the Brotherhood of Steel. All the rules are going to be in that campaign book. And we're going to take a look at some of the material that's going to be coming alongside it. We also know that they are going to continue to do their resin kits, but they are going to be moving to some multi-part plastic kits. And a lot of that's mainly going to be some of their core troop choices, if you will. And those are going to be moving to multi-part plastic kits, which is good because that's savings onto us and plus gives us options. Not a lot was really discussed of what was going to be in this book. but we do know that it's going to be they're going to be shifting their focus more towards Fallout 3 in this next wave should be coming out around 2023 or beginning of 2023. All right, we're going to keep moving on here. The other thing they want to talk about is before I talk about more about the plastics, is there is going to be a new game coming in 2023. It is called Fallout Factions, and the first wave, the first campaign setting, whatever you want to call it, is going to be called Nuka World. And some of the things that they wanted to stress is that this is not Wasteland Warfare, nor is it replacing Wasteland Warfare or Fallout 2D20 or anything that they have right now Fallout-wise. It is a entirely separate game. We don't know a lot about it. We do know that the miniatures are done, yes, and the rules are still in development. They're still knocking out a couple things about it. But we know that it's going to be kind of like a gang system. So those of you familiar with, say, Necromunda, or even from like Osprey publishing the Stargrave or Frostgrave games, you know that what it's like building up your gang leader or your squad leader, or whatever, whichever game you're looking at, and your other characters can kind of level up, and it's kind of like a journey that you're taking your squad on. Instead of these different faction skirmish games, one-off skirmish games or whatnot, this is actually more of a building up your squad and campaigning along with them. So that's a really cool idea that they're doing. And obviously the first one is going to have a Nuka World theme alongside of it. But they wanted to stress multiple times, Wasteland Warfare is not going away. It is their main product line for Fallout. So they have designs for Fallout all the way through 2025 right now. At least they mentioned 2025 right now. So that's how much material that they've got laid out. And we know that between now and 2024, I believe it is, or 2025, we know that Fallout 5 has been slated, and we haven't even touched Fallout 76 yet. And Fallout 76 has a host of new content that they could spend a couple waves on. So Wasteland Warfare is not going away. This is not a replacement of it. However, one cool thing about this is that the miniatures are going to have cross compatibility. And going alongside the Capital Wasteland expansion that's going to be coming out, and the Fallout Factions is going to be plastic sprues. And this is, I think, one of the coolest things. They brought over James Hewitt from Games Workshop, or he came over, or they invited him. Anyways, he's over now concentrating on handling miniatures and such for Modifius. This is a good move. And as you can see here with their sprue design, this is really amazing. So this is the first kit that's going to be coming out. They said this is going to be the first kit. If I understood correctly, with the Capital, this is an Enclave kit. It's going to have, the box set will have a total of 3 T45, that's the model number, power armor sets. And the great thing about this is it's kind of future-proofed in a sense, is that all these weapons and arms and hands, the different types of, since this is T45, if you've played the games, you know that you can mix match power armor types. So if you could have a T45 torso and right arm, a T60 left arm, and T51 legs, or some combination thereof. And this is what they're looking for in the future, is that the arms and the heads are going to be compatible with all the different frames. So they're future-proofing all the, at least all the power armor, and that's probably going to carry over into the other troop types. So you can mix match the different weapon options. Now, obviously these boxes aren't going to be coming with every single available option, but they did say that these plastic kits are going to have upgrade kits to come alongside them that will be resin. They might have a different style weapons that aren't normally on here. Who knows, we might see some plasma, the plasma cannons that I think we see in Fallout 76, that sort of thing, come out later along the line, because the power armor sets, the T45, all the way through the XO1, all the different variants in between, span the breadth of the Fallout franchise. So you're going to be able to mix match, and you're going to encounter them with different waves. Now, they did say, and we're going to try to wrap this up, that these plastic kits are not going to be every kit going forward. There's still going to be a lot of their models that they're like the creatures and the bigger models that going forward will still be the resin or that kind of that soft plastic. I forget what the type of plastic that is, but they're going to be doing that going forward still. But they are going to be kind of focusing on the troops and the core and the models that come in the core sets to be in plastic, since those ones you're going to be buying more of. So there's a lot, and that kind of tells us that there's a lot more coming down the line just beyond the campaign, almost RPG style that Wasteland Warfare has, or what the Fallout factions is kind of denoting there might be something bigger on the horizon for Fallout. So something really to start taking into consideration. This might be like the perfect time to get in, especially with the plastic troop options and whatnot. A couple other things that they had mentioned was, well, actually, I think we covered everything. Oh, the Wasteland faction, or the Fallout factions. Let me back up here. Fallout factions is going to be using D10s instead of the proprietary dice that the Fallout Wasteland Warfare uses. So it is going to be using a different style of dice, and people usually have tons of 10-sided dice or 6-sided dice. So those are like the two most common dice that people have. So there will be D10s, and of course they're going to have their own special Fallout D10 dice and whatnot. That's all going to be coming down the line. So some really cool stuff. We'll get more on that. They said after the first of the year, alongside the talking about the capital expansion, they need to get Wave 7 out between now and the end of the year. And then probably sometime around January, February, they'll do another ModCon. Should be about the 6-month mark, 5 to 6 month mark. And we will get, 2023's, at least the first wave of what's going to be coming out in 2023. I'm more excited about this now because I really enjoyed, I liked Fallout 4. I really enjoy Fallout 76. But Fallout 3, I really enjoyed. I don't know what it was, but there was just something about it that I really just, that one was my jam. And the fact that the next wave is going to be that focus, I'm really, really super stoked about that. And so also I want to go and point out that if you guys get a chance, as of today, for the next 2 weeks, I believe they said it, on their website, just click on the ModCon link, and they have there's a link there for a free base STL. So if you want to print off their ModCon 2023 base, it's free. And it's for today. I don't know how long. Oh, they said it for 2 weeks. ModCon 2022 or 22. ModCon 22, or it might be 2022. I'll put both down in the description below. That is a promo code to get 15% off their online store. So now's the perfect time to get a bonus discount and go ahead and order some stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this stuff. Are you excited like I am? Or this is not your jam? Regardless, I think this is a really cool thing. Wasteland Warfare has been kind of a little bit of a slow burn for me. I've kind of building myself up to it. It's an enjoyable game, but I enjoy the miniatures more than I personally do the game, because there's just a disconnect. I'm still in GW mode. So once I get Games Workshop mode out of my head completely, which I've been doing with like Marvel Crisis Protocol, which we talk about a lot here. I've got my games now. I have Spectre Operations, Magical Girl, Assault. I'm going to do a upcoming video for Mark IV for Privateer Press's War Machine. I've got 3 games now under my belt. Not too, but still, I'm trying to get the big Games Workshop thinking out of my head and focus on the quality and the enjoyment that that I should be having for these games, but without the stigma that comes along with thinking, or with my Games Workshop thinking. I got issues. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of ModCon 22. Are you excited about any of these factions or these upcoming stuff? Let me know what you guys think. Well, let me know also, what is your favorite suit of power armor? Mine, I think the T60 is my favorite as of right now. The T60, T51's is in there, but the T60 is right now is my fan favorite. And that's before we add any skins like the Fallout 76 Ghouls, sorts of really cool skins to replace your Fallout, the normal armor skins. But I think the T60 is right now is my favorite. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know which one is your favorite. You guys have yourself a great weekend. I'll chat with you later. See ya.